Welcome back. This is episode 12 of my Realignment 2028 series as the Oakland A's expansion team. Uh, we have just finished the 2030 season and it's time for the playoffs. We've made the playoffs for the second year in a row, which is great. Standings, we finished with the second best record in the AL at 92 and 70, and we are facing the division winning Detroit Tigers in the second round of the playoffs. Winner goes to the ALCS to face either the Yankees or the Mariners. So um, I'll just run through very quickly the playoff roster. Jones will get the start in game one. That shouldn't be a surprise. Imanaga and Batista will be games 2 and 3 starter. Game four is TBD. It'll likely be either Jackson Ferris or Desan Hill. Maybe I'll do Jones on short rest if we're in really dire straits, but kind of make that a game time decision. Cutter Coffee only has 1 day left on his injury, so he will not play the first game of the series, but he will be available for the rest of the series, so he makes the playoff roster, which is exciting. We get him back for the playoffs, minus game one. And then, most of the other players got a nice platoon split going between right-handed and left-handed pitching. Martinez and Shelley won't play against righties. They will against lefties. Bodine will be the backup catcher. Montero is like the backup infielder who should see some playing time as like probably the primary pinch hitter, because he's been fairly hot against, at least against lefties. Very small sample size, but he makes it over. The other name that I was considering, DeLuca, who was also very hot against lefties, just because I've already got a lot of DH/outfield types, and I'd rather, Shelley I'd want to keep for his defense, and he's also hitting lefties well. Zapata's hitting both righties and lefties well, so DeLuca just narrowly misses making the playoff roster. If Coffee wasn't healthy, he would make it over him. But I also never talked about Cooper Kinney. He wasn't on the team to end the year. He finished with a disappointing season, despite putting up good numbers in AAA. So I'll have to decide what I want to do with him next year. Part of me wants to try to bring him back and salvage him, and part of me just wants to let him go. But that'll be an off-season decision. So right now, it's time for some playoffs. Game one here, it will be at Oakland, I believe. Yes, at Oakland Coliseum. So it'll be 2-2-1, I believe, is the format. Two at Oakland, two at Detroit, and then game five, if necessary, will be back in Oakland. It is a 5-game series, so we'll see if we can ideally win in three, but I have a feeling this is going to be a 4 or 5-game series either way. I am controlling just substitutions. I might jump into, if I really want someone to steal, if I really want to intentionally walk someone, swap that out. I also don't have warm-ups turned on just because it's kind of one more thing to worry about in simulation, and I don't really want to deal with that when it's just kind of, it would work out okay in real life, I think. Um, our lineup, let's go over the Tigers lineup real quick. John Peck leading off for them, 28 years old. Riley Green, probably their best hitter overall. Finished with 6.1 WAR on the season. Colt Keith, not too far behind with 4.2. Two very dangerous hitters at the top of the lineup. Ryan Gibson, very young, very solid defense, very solid season. Tyron Lorenzo, I know we looked at. He's a solid, fairly young catcher. But then Brendan Donovan at DH, Danny De Andrade, Parker Meadows at center field, looks to be a defense first center fielder, and then Braylon Tavera in right field. So top half of their order much scarier than the bottom half. Their starting pitcher today is also Aaron Watson, who is not their ace. So hopefully we can get to him. You know, ideally, I think Scooball's set to pitch game 3 of the series, so we'll want to take the first 2 if possible, just because that will be a tough one against Scooball. Our starting lineup against right-handed pitching, which Aaron Watson is, we got Zapata leading off, Brett Rooker at DH, Pete Crow Armstrong center field, Drake Baldwin catching, Adrian Santana shortstop, Sean Gamble playing right field. He can play all over the place, and I even got him some time at third base at the end of the season just to get him that extra position of experience where he can literally play all over the diamond if I wanted to. So he's our utility guy, but he'll be starting in right field for us against righties. And Volpe playing second, Perdomo at third, and then Keyshaw at the bottom of the order at first base. And our pitcher, who's been our ace this season, is Gavin Jones. You know, hopefully he'll come out and have a strong game. We'd like to see game 1 win here. So let's get going. And first pitch is out. Cloudy and 63 degrees. That sounds like good baseball weather to me. Sometime I need to go through. Yeah, you can see I actually just went and edited Sutter Health Park to the Oakland dimensions. I know there's old Oakland stadiums that you can't import, so I'll have to do that sometime so we actually get a more realistic stadium here. Because we get 1 here, leadoff walk, and then you get 1, but don't get 2. So Riley Greenridge he's a mild threat to steal, so we'll see if they decide to do anything with him. As another hit, another sharply hit ball, but they get 1. Oh, Riley Green is injured, but he's remaining again. Okay. You know, you don't root for injuries, but when they're virtual players, it kind of feels like you catch a break when something like that happens. A little bloop single to center field. So Tigers now have men on first and second with 2 outs. See if we can put away the round zone and get out of the inning without any damage. And he can't. He strikes out on offense. Good. We allowed 1 hit. It's a solid first inning. All right. They have Aaron Watts on the mound. Let's see if we can get to him early. Start getting to them, getting to their bullpen. Leadoff walk is a great way to do that. All right. Zapata on base. Brett Rooker to that. And strikes out on 3 pitches. Okay. Not ideal. Pete Armstrong. He's been hot to end the season, but he does hit a sharp grounder to the second baseman. They go to first or second for 1. We just get 1. Ryan Gibson seemed to be in hitting. Oh my god, okay. So they do take him out of the ballgame. Where was he playing? Was he their second baseman? I believe so. Shortstop. Here's their shortstop. Oh, has a back injury, out for 3 weeks. That's rough. That's rough for them. So now they have to put in John Peck at shortstop, who is much worse defensively. So let's hope that we can take advantage of that. Although again, we hate to see injuries. Yeah, as we strike out to end the first, go to the second. Gavin Jones back on the mound. Donovan, grounder to the second baseman. Volpe, easy out. Danny De Andrade does work a full count. Let's see. Nope, that's a grounder to Santana, who dives, gets it. Oh, and then a fumble. Bad throw. It's a tough play to make. Hopefully they do charge an error on Santana. That's rough. When it sounded like it was a tough play, throwing from his knees. Well, full count He gets a strikeout. It's 2 for the day so far from Jones. Let's see if we can get Tavera out without any damage in this inning too. So he just little dribbler to the shortstop and easy out. All right. So we've gotten some base runners in the first 2 innings, but no damage so far. Let's see how Santana can do against Watson. You know, last year our bats were just anemic in the playoffs. Let's see if we can actually score some runs here in game 1. Santana definitely a threat to steal. He takes off. It's a hit and run, which is a great time to do it. They stay out of the double play. Santana now in scoring position with Volpe and Perdomo up next. Volpe hits a shallow one to center field. Oh, and he dives and catches it. Meadows showing off the defense there. Right, 2 outs. Perdomo up to bat. He hits it deep to left center field, right center field. Not bad. That will score the run as he gets into second with a double there. Nice job by Perdomo. Scoring the runner. We are on the board in the back. Oh, Perdomo's not injured. We take him out of the ball game. Okay, that's not great. It is a minimal injury, but he is injured enough to have to leave the game. I think we're going to slot in Montero because he does have good third base defense, and yeah, right now I'll just go defense first. Yeah, Montero will come in and then play third after that. So Keyshaw up to bat, and works a walk. It's good. We're getting a lot of walks early. He's, well, walked 2, struck out 2. He's at 42 pitches in the second inning. That's pretty good. Let's see if we can get some more guys on as Zapata just pops out to right field. Yes, we need a new third baseman. That will be okay. Gavin Jones at 44 pitches. We want to keep an eye on that, but we'll probably let him go as late as he can. He's at about 50 pitches, so hopefully we can get 5 solid innings out of him. That's my hope. If they take off, they're probably going to be safe on that one. Yeah. Baldwin, not the best at getting runners. Heck, very serious threat to steal, obviously, and now they have a man at second, nobody out. Let's see. And Riley Green, Colt Keith up. That's the next 2 batters. Not ideal. Oh, but Jones, clutch strikeout. Oh, but they had to take him out of the ball game. Okay. Alright, well. Now we have to make a decision. I know Ferris and Hill were both potential Game 4 starters. Hill has been better this season. I think I'm going to bring in Hill out of relief here. Just because it is a very clutch spot. We'll worry about Game 4 when Game 4 happens. If and when Game 4 happens. Because I'd like to leave Imanaga as our Game 2 starter and Bautista. Yeah, so Hill will come in. Possibly also Ferris. So we'll check and use him as a follower. So he should be able to go longer because we're going to need a lot of innings out of him. Ideally at least 3. So come in and strikes out Keith. Love to see that. Martin up to bat now. So he does hit a blooper into left field that might score the runner. Zapata, oh, does manage to get it back in. Okay, so the ball's shallow enough where they didn't send him. First and third, 2 outs. Yeah, Zapata with 65 on. Didn't feel like challenging him. Lorenzo also a dangerous hitter though. Let's see if we can get out of the inning without any damage. So hits a pop-up in the infield, and that's third down. shot. Love it. All right. So we get out without any damage, but Gavin Jones does have to leave the game with injury. So, yeah, game one now in question here. And Rooker hits a single left field. Okay, we're getting hits so far. 3 hits against their starting pitching. Peeker Armstrong hits a solid ball to center field, but that's going to be corralled by Meadows. No problem. Out number 1. Baldwin at bat. Just with the full count and Rooker walk. Let's see that. All right, we got first and second now with Santana up to bat. He hit a double, I believe, his last time up, so see if he can get. It's a fumble by the second baseman. Everybody's safe. All right, and Gamble up to bat. Sharp hit ball to the first baseman. They get 1. Can they turn 2? They can. That does prevent the run from scoring. It's still 1-0. This Hill comes back again. Facing the bottom of their order. Oh, sharp hit ground ball. Montero showing off the defense, keeping that in the infield. That probably saves extra bases. Alright, Donovan does make it to first though. Let's see if Hill can work around this as ball squeaks through the right field. And they won't risk running to third, so we do have first and second nobody out now. Hill in a bit of trouble here, I'm assuming. Does strike out Meadows on the next pitch. Tavera at bat. Definitely don't want to get to Green and Keith this inning with 2 men on. He does tag and move to third, but ultimately not the biggest deal as we got 2 outs now. We need to get Pegs because we don't want to face Green and Keith anymore. Peck strikes out on 3 pitches. Great work by Hill. We are keeping it close. It's a 1-0 game. Volpe up to bat. We'd love to see him do something here. So he hits a little dribbler that does make it through to center field. All right. Love it. Well, it's a hard ground ball, according to the caption. Hard to tell from the visuals sometimes whether it's how hard the ball is actually. Volpe does take off. He's a threat to steal. Is he in? He's safe. Second base. Great job by Volpe getting in scoring position. Now we have man on in scoring position for Montero. Let's see if he can come up clutch. He does hit it to the right side. That'll advance the runner to third at least. So now anything out of the outfield or out of the infield should likely score Volpe with his speed, I would think. Keyshaw does hit a deep ball to center field. Deep center field. So Volpe should tag and score with no issues there. Nice sac fly by Keyshaw. It's got 2-0. That insurance run definitely going to come into play here, you'd think. Zapata pops it up as Martin dashes in and makes the catch in foul territory. All right. But we do score another run. 2-0 now. Hill back on the mound. Love to see. Alright, he's facing Green and Keith for the second time. Let's see how he'll do as Green works a walk. Keith, I do like the lefty-lefty matchup. Let's see. As Keith hits a deep fly ball. Right fielder's not even moving because it's right to him. Alright. Ooh, that scared me for a second. Alright, 1 out. Hill, 41 pitches, doing well. Still not particularly tired. Probably at least leave him in through this inning and then kind of see how next inning goes. Lorenzo does work a walk, so now they have 2 men on. We're Green now in scoring position with Donovan up, but it is another lefty-lefty matchup. Let's see if Hill can get the out here. He works another walk. Okay. Alright, Hill with the bases full. De Andrade, I think this is his jam to work out of. He's at 53 pitches. Let's see him do it. 2 outs. He does put the ball in play, but that is playable for right fielder, Gamble, he pulls it down. This game remains 2-0. As it gets out of a bases loaded jam. All right, Aaron Watson still in the game for Detroit. He's at 78 pitches. So you have to imagine, although the CPU sometimes their decisions are a little questionable in terms of pitching. I remember questioning that. Well, I questioned it, but it was Minho on in the playoffs for the Yankees, and he's more than proven himself this year, right? Like he was their closer with starting level stamina. So Aaron Watson is starting to get tired, though. Let's see if we can get to him here and knock him out of the game. I'd love to see their bullpen. As their PCA pops one up, his center baseman. Yeah, that's a position. All right, Danny Deodrada, he pulled it down. We got 2 outs, no one on. Drake Baldwin. Let's see what he can do here. Does work a full count. Hits it to left center. I think that's going to hang up just enough for their left fielder to get it. Green. All right, no one scores for Oakland. Hill back out there. We'll see how this inning goes. And we'll kind of play it batter by batter, I think. Ideally, he pitches through the 6th, and then we go to our relievers for 7, 8, 9. That's going to be kind of my plan here. But we'll see as that's a deep fly ball to center field. Is it going to stay in the park? It just does. On the warning track, PCA grabs it. And right at the wall, PCA, yeah, showing off that elite defense. All right. Braylon Tavera, bottom of the order up for them. They've been hitting a lot of balls into play, which you don't love to see. As that one also taken deep to left field on the warning track for Zapata. All right. I think this will be Hill's last batter, regardless. If Peck manages to get on, I would bring in someone else for relief against Green and Keith, just because I can't afford that in a 2-0 ball game. But no worries about that. Peck grounds out to the shortstop Santana. All right, great job by Hill, coming in relief and pitching 3 1/3 scoreless innings, I believe. 3 2/3, 63 pitches of scoreless relief. Love to see that. All right. Santana, they do bring in the reliever Tanner Banks, so we do get to their bullpen here in the 6th. Tanner Banks. Let's see if we can get to Tanner here. Santana steps in. That's going to be a fly out to their center fielder. Meadows pulls it down. Gamble. It's a lefty-lefty matchup. Could think about, this might be a spot to sub. I know Gamble's not particularly great against left-handed hitting. And he is in right field. This might be a good spot in the 6th inning. Let's see if we can get some more offense going. Steven Martinez, show me what you got in pinch hit duty here. As he does ground one to the third baseman, and Martin corrals it and throws it to Martinez. Gets Martinez out. There we go. Volpe works a full count, and it does get a single to right field. All right, Volpe, 2 hits so far in this game. Love to see that. Montero, 0 for 1. Would like to see him get hit. As Volpe picked off at first. Don't love to see that. All right. Zapata versus Martinez. Who would we rather have? I think Martinez is a slightly better defender in left. We'll put Martinez in left, and Zapata will slot over to right. As Hill's day is done, and we'll bring in the 7th, so we'll just do our normal lineup here. We'll have, Fernandez. Let's see. I think we have Fernandez, Snyder, Jax. Sorry, Snyder, Fernandez, Jax. Let's do. Although, I think I want Fernandez in against the middle of their order, so we'll do Fernandez. Possibly have him pitch 2 innings, depending on how many pitches it takes. So Fernandez steps in. He's been great so far this year. Steps in to a tough situation, gets the middle of their order, well, the heart of their order, really. And as he walks Green on 4 pitches, don't love to see that. All right, Keith steps in as, oh, Green, a slide and out. Drake Baldwin catches him stealing. That is something I love to see. As Colt Keith has a 1-2 count, now a 2-2 count, and that's going to find left field. Martinez will pull it down, and another one on first. But Keith, not as much of a threat to steal. Let's see, Martin steps in, strikes out. Okay, Fernandez, let's see if he can get out of this here against Lorenzo, who is a tough out. But he does pop up. Montero should be able to pull that down. All right. Pretty good work from Fernandez there, giving up a hit, but hitting a walk, but no damage ultimately. All right. Montero steps in, and then Keyshaw. Let's look at our batting list again and see if there's any good spots to pinch hit. You know, I could look to pinch hit Shelley somewhere against the lefty, but first base situation would be, yeah, Keyshaw does decently well against lefties, and Montero has done really well against lefties, so yeah, none of the next 3 batters I particularly want to pinch hit for against left-handed pitching. So let's see how Montero does. He gets 3-1 pitch into play, and that does find right field. All right, so Montero stays hot against lefties. Is a mild threat to steal. Let's see if he decides to do it with Keyshaw up to bat. So Keyshaw grounds to the shortstop for 1, and they do turn 2. Yeah, that's rough. All right, Zapata steps in, works a 3-2 count, and pops it up. I think that's going to be playable for their left fielder Green. Yeah, no problems there. Okay, Fernandez. 18 pitches. I'm just going to play it safe here. Just do what I said. Stick with my plan. Bring in Snyder. Then that'll slide in Jax to face the top of their order next inning. So Snyder comes in for the bottom half of their order and strikes out Snyder, or strikes out Donovan. 3-2 pitch, love to see that. De Andrade is 2 for 5 in the playoffs, 1 for 3 today. Let's see how he does against Snyder. Does put the ball in play, and that will find the center field. So he does sneak a single up through the gap there. De Andrade is a threat to steal. We definitely want to keep them off the board here, keep it a 2-0 ball game. As that's the threat for 2, they turn 1. Can they get 2? Yes, that's a nice double play induced by Snyder, keeping it a scoreless ball game for Detroit as Carlos Hernandez steps in now for Detroit. We'll go to our defensive lineup after this, especially since Baldwin is due up to hit in this inning. So let's see how things go. As Rooker steps in, it's a little dribbler with a shortstop. That's playable. No problems there for them. Heck gathers it up, and Rook is retired. All right, PCA 0 for 3 today. I know he had a hard hit ball to the outfield at one point. Let's see if he can get on bases. He hits another hard one to the outfield, but right to the right fielder. Tavera makes a running catch. Baldwin up with 2 outs. As he hits one down the first baseline, pitcher runs over the cover, and he does make it over in time. Keith, yeah, saved an extra base hit there. All right, so We're going to our defensive lineup, which means that Shelley will be coming into play outfield. We'll leave Zapata in. He'll come back to first base. He'll come back to left field. As Shelley will slot in here and play right, and then Bodine will slot in at catcher here, and then we are bringing in our closer Griffin Jacks. We'll face Tavera, Peck, and Green, and ideally that's it. 2-0 ball game. We want our best possible defensive lineup out there, which I think is this to end the game. Let's see how things go. Tavera steps in, 1-2 pitch, strike 3. Jack strikes out the first batter. You like to see that. Peck steps in. He is hitless so far. Let's see if we can keep him hitless for the game as he hits it to center field. But more than playable for PCA. No problems, 2 outs. Riley Green up to bat, the toughest out in their lineup. He is 0 for 2 today. Let's see. Can Griffin Jacks get the save? As he pops it up, that should be no issues for Santana. And he pulls it down. Alright, tough fought game. Shared shutout for the team. Yeah, Hill, very clutch. He's my player of the game. I don't know why they'd give it to Aaron Watson as the losing pitcher, but whatever. He did go 96 pitches. Gavin Jones with a game score of 52, despite only being in for 2 1/3 innings. And then Desan Hill. He is my personal player of the game. He came in, he allowed 3 hits and 3 walks, but struck out 3. Ultimately pitched 3 2/3 scoreless innings. Love to see that. Hit-wise, Santana had a clutch hit. Volpe had a clutch hit. He's 2 for 3 so far in the series. Yeah, we've still won game 1 despite a Jones injury. Love to see that, as he has a sore elbow, moderate for 1 week, so that kind of puts his status into question. Ideally, we don't have to deal with that as much. If we can manage to win this in 3 or 4 games, then hopefully he would be healthy for the next series to pitch game 1. With how the timing works out, we'll see. Everything's kind of up in the air. I don't know if he would be healthy for a potential game 5, but I probably wouldn't throw him back out there on short rest with an injury. So, and Hill, pitched a lot in this game. So will Ferris get the mound in a possible game 4? That would be kind of up in the air as well. Perdomo also got a day-to-day injury. This one is minimal, and it's to his running, so we might look to... My plan was to have Coffee DH on his first game back, but we might look instead to have him play third base. Let me see how the lineup works out, and as we advance the next day. Yeah, Cutter Coffee back and healthy. He is coming off a broken elbow bone, so ideally I'd like to work him back in there slowly as a DH. But yeah, let me see. Maybe Montero will slot in and play third with Coffee at DH. I don't know. Let me look and see how I want to do the lineup, and I'll see you for game 2. Game 2, this is going to be our lineup. Kind of went with a mix of what I was talking about before. Little bit of a different lineup, but not too different for us here. So Cutter Coffee will come in and actually lead off just based on what he had done prior to his injury. Hopefully he comes back strong. He's our leadoff hitter. He's playing first base today. Zapata at left again. Rooker, Baldwin, Gamble, Santana, Armstrong, Volpe, and then Montero slotting in at third and hitting 9th to fill in for the injured Perdomo. Perdomo will be available to pinch hit in this game. yeah, I think that's probably the best way to use him here, just given that it is game two. You know, I think we'll probably want him out there for if we get to game 4 and 5, no matter what. But for right now, we're going to play it safe and rest him due to his injury, I think. So Imanaga takes the mound. He's been great this year. Actually led the league in walks per 9, which you love to see. So we'll see how he does against the Detroit lineup, which looks largely the same from yesterday, except they have friend Yerber Montilla in at third base. They're starting and De Andrade in at shortstop. Slight defensive upgrade for them, I think, versus whoever they had it filling in last game. Their starting shortstop, it was out for the rest of the series, so yeah, we'll have to hopefully take advantage of that injury. Again, I hate to see injuries, but they are virtual players, so it can only be so sad. All right, Imanaga up against Detroit. Love to take a 2-0 lead before heading to Detroit, where we could hopefully take one out of the next two. As we start with a pop-up to the second baseman, Volpe. It's great. One out. Imanaga. As Green comes in, hitting second. 3-1 pitch, and he also gets him to ground out to Coffee. It's great. 2 outs. Keith. 0-2. Strike 3. Alright, so the side goes down in order for Detroit as Christian Scott will get the start for them. He's been decent so far this year, but he's not Scooble. We need to get to him since we will be facing Scooble in game 3 most likely. So let's see what Cutter Coffee can do on his first at bat back from injury. He does make solid contact, but it's an out to left field, so Zapata steps in. And that's a little bloop single to right field. Nice job by Zapata. Rooker will step in. He's 1 for 4 so far in the playoffs. Rooker does strike out there on 3 pitches, though, and Baldwin 0 for 3 so far in the playoffs. I believe he worked a walk. Yeah, and that's another out. So we remain scoreless. We do get a hit on the board. Let's see. Imanaga steps in against Lorenzo. Lorenzo strikes out. Donovan up to bat. Donovan with the ground ball to the first base side. Coffee pulls it in, no problem. And De Andrade, back up shortstop. I believe he played second for them last game. And yeah, goes down in order again. So 2 scoreless so far for Imanaga. Let's see what Gamble can do as he steps in. He does work a full count. And as the right fielder flies towards that pitch, Tavera sprints after it. I'll say he did. I love the 3D graphics sometimes in these games. All right. He does get out. Santana, 3-2 pitch, and that does find right field. So nice job by Santana getting on. Yeah, we definitely want to get our runs where we can. So let's see if PCA can hit him over or at least get on. Nope, he strikes out looking. Okay. So 2 outs. Santana is a threat to steal. Let's see if he decides to with Volpe up. He does take off, and not in time. Santana slides in. I think that's his second steal in the series so far, and that's great because Volpe is 2 for 3 so far. Let's see if he can stay hot and score Santana. That's a sharply hit ball, but right at the left fielder Green. So don't get anything on that as Imanaga steps back in. Meow. Yeah, my cat just meowed. Montilla gives up extra bases. First hit, and it is a double for Tigers, so allowing base runners here. Let's see if Imanaga can work out with this with Tavera and Meadows up next. Tavera, another sharply hit ball. Let's see if they decide to score on that. And they decide to hold him third. Okay, so first and third, no one out. Parker Meadows up to bat. He's 1 for 11 so far in the playoffs. Let's see if we can get a strikeout here. That would be great. I know that ball does go into play, and it does find the outfield. So Tigers find the board first. It is 1-0 in their favor. As it's still first and second, nobody out with the top of their order due up. Imanaga in a bit of a jam here. So that's a little fly out, and Zapata does manage to get that one out. Green up to bat. It is the lefty-lefty matchup, so let's see how he does against Imanaga. It's the first pitch into play. That will find the outfield in front of PCA. That'll likely score. Oh, as they do cut off the throw and get the runner at third. At this point, they'll take the out. 2-0 on that single by Riley Green. Colt Keith, let's see if we can get out of here without too much damage done. As Green tries to steal, and he does successfully steal. Now he gets into scoring position. If Keith can hit the ball into the outfield, but he cannot. He strikes out on the 3-2 pitch. So Imanaga gets out without too much damage done, but Detroit now in the lead 2-0. As Montero steps in as our fill-in third baseman. Let's see what he can do. Strike out. Okay. Coffee. My cat's going crazy here. All right. Coffee steps in. He works a 4-pitch walk. All right. I will take that. Coffee on first. Zapata steps in. He had a single his first time up. And he has another one as Coffee goes second. Coffee goes for third. As Zapata goes for second and get him. Oh, okay. So Zapata getting a little greedy on the base running there. As Coffee does successfully make it to third, so if Brooker can manage to get a hit here, that should score him no matter what. But he strikes out. Okay, so that is the inning. Oakland fails to score. Imanaga steps back in against Lorenzo. As he hits it sharply to center field, deep center field, but that's playable for PCA, no problem. Donovan up to bat. He's 0 for 1 so far today. Little dribbler in front of the plate, but that shouldn't be an issue for Drake, we would hope. And yeah, Baldwin gets it. Fires to first for the out. Let me see. Imanaga. Deals to De Andrade. Another fly ball to PCA. Another no problem. So he does get out 1, 2, 3 in that inning. The third so far, the only blemish on his record. Otherwise, he's pitched a great game. Scott deals to Baldwin. That's going to be another fly out to their center fielder, Meadows. As Gamble steps in, he's 0 for 3 so far in the playoffs. Make that 0 for 4 as he grounds out to the second baseman. All right. And Santana has gone 2 for 4 so far in the playoffs. 1 for 1 today. Let's see if we can get another hit. Almost makes it through, but their shortstop De Andrade does grab it, and he's retired. All right. So we head to the 5th. Imanaga still only at 48 pitches. He, outside of that third inning, has done well. So he does strike out Montilla. So he's got 4 strikeouts so far, no walks allowed. Make that 5 strikeouts. And Meadows steps in to bat. And he induces a pop-up. No problem for Santana. All right, so we'll have to look and see, keep an eye on Imanaga's pitches as he is now going through the 3rd time in the order, and we are behind. But other than that 3rd inning, he's done really, really well. So I think we'll leave him in to face the top of the order for sure, and we'll kind of see how that goes. Our offense doesn't really do anything we're speaking of so far. Montero up to bat, he's 1 for 3 so far in the playoffs. Let's see. He does work a lot. Okay, so we do get a base runner. Scott already at 78 pitches for them, so this could be his last inning. Let's see if Cutter Coffee can come in the clutch here. It's a lot of C's. As he can, that ball finds the wall. That might score a run. As Montero digs, that's going to be a triple, I think, for Coffee. Assuming he made it in there safely. Let's see. Relay for Peck. Coffee with a 1-run triple. I'd love to see that. Zapata up now. Any hit should score the run and tie this game. So let's see if Zapata can hit it. Ooh, he strikes out on 3 pitches. But nice clutch hit in there from Coffee. Cuts the lead from 2 to 1. Imanaga steps back out there. Only at 61 pitches. He will for sure face Green and Keith in this inning, and then we'll evaluate from there. You like the lefty-lefty matchup. Doesn't deuce the ground ball. Green steps in. Strikes out. Imanaga really settling in. As Keith also strikes out. Alright, Imanaga dealing now. He will come back out for the 7th. And Rooker steps in. This might be... No, we weren't looking to pitch hit yet until they bring it. If they bring in a lefty, then maybe. Especially with Gamble. If Baldwin gets on, maybe I look to pinch hit for Gamble here. As Baldwin does get on with a walk. And they do bring in their pinch hit, or their reliever Max Kranick. Gamble 0 for 4 so far in the playoffs. We do have the option of bringing in Perdomo as a pinch hitter. With Gamble kind of cold so far to start the series. Yeah, I mean, he's one of a few players who doesn't have a hit yet. PCA, we obviously want to leave him for his defense. Martinez and Shelley have each only had 1 at bat. Keyshaw been pretty cold as well, but he does at least have 1 at bat and 1 walk to his name. Gamble, nothing to speak of here. So, I think Perdomo, we're going to pinch hit with Perdomo just because we need offense. He is injured, but I think this makes a lot of sense. And we could always just, use him as a pinch hitter here and then sub someone in for defense after that. As Perdomo comes through in the clutch with the ball down the line. He's gimpy foot and all, going and digging it out for a 2-bagger as he does get Baldwin over the 3rd, it just run out. Okay, so Perdomo, I'm gonna pinch run for Perdomo just to keep, again, being on the safe side here. I think I'm gonna bring in Shelley, likely, because he's gonna slot into right field where I want him for his defense. And he's a good runner on top of that. Could bring in Keyshaw, potentially, but I'd rather save him. Or would I rather save him? Let's see, versus righties. Keyshaw is a better pinch hitter versus righties, but versus lefties, that would be Shelley. We do have Shelley, or Martinez, as a potential pinch hitter versus lefties. So, bring in Shelley to pinch run for Perdomo. Great job by Perdomo. Let's see if Santana can come through in the clutch here. He does hit it. That's going to be extra bases. That's going to score 2. Santana with a clutch extra base hit. All right, so the moves pay off here. And Oakland now has the lead, 3-2. PCA will step in. Let's see if we can make it 4-2. PCA hitless so far in this series, but he's had some good hard hit balls. Does hit another one out to right field, but playable for the right fielder, Tavera. He's had a lot of, balls to the outfield that just haven't found the ground there as Volpe steps in. He's hot so far in this series, and he stays hot. Santana, send him. They do send him, and he scores. All right. Yeah, you got to send him with 2 outs there. And Santana runs well and scores. It's now 4-2. It's great. Montero steps in. As he does ground out weakly, that's going to be a pretty easy out, I think, as he throws it to second. All right, so nice job by the A's, managing to pull back into the lead here, 4-2. And Shelley will come into play right field. And Imanaga will come back out for the 7th inning. Only 72 pitches thrown. If it gets into any kind of trouble, I think we look to maybe bring in relievers here. But the way he's been dealing, he's just absolutely dealing. 8 strikeouts. He might come back out for the 8th at this point. Ooh, does work a walk. That's his first walk of the game. Okay. I think I let Imanaga try to get out of this jam here. But it is a close ball game. If we were up by 4 or 5 runs, then I leave him in no matter what. As it is, Montia's been hot, 1 for 2. Well, relatively hot. As he is to 84 pitches, I think this will be his last batter. As he does successfully get out of it with a ground ball to the second baseman. Great job by Imanaga today. Pitching 7 strong innings. Outside of the 3rd where he got hit around a little bit, he was excellent in every other inning in this game. So, love to see it. And we're going to bring in, probably some combination of Fernandez and Jax and Snyder to close out this game. Coffee's a pot of Rooker due up for us at the bottom of the 7th. As Coffee has come back and not really missed a beat. He had a very clutch triple that kind of got things started last inning. Zapata works a full count and does hit it to right center with Tavera. Tavera must have very good, they keep mentioning his defense, and he does look to be quite a good defender in right field. You could argue he can maybe be their center fielder. No, their center fielder is also quite good, so, okay. Rooker, let's see what he can do. He's worked a 3-0 count, taking all the way. That is ball 4. Got a man on with 2 outs. Let's see if Baldwin can do something here. No, that's right to Tavera as he brings it in. Imanaga's day is done. Final line, 7 innings of 4-hit ball, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. Great game for him. We will bring in against righties. Snyder's slightly better. We'll bring in Snyder against Tavera. And then Jax will come in if it gets to green. We want him in for the part of it, I believe. So ideally Snyder comes in and doesn't give up anything here as there's a bullet towards left field. We'll look to do any defensive adjustments here in the 8th. I think no. Not yet. So we already have a solid defensive lineup out right now. As Meadows hits one deep to right field, and it's gone. Okay, so that cuts the lead to just 1. Parker Meadows with a home run. As Peck will step in. Well, Greenwood for sure getting at bat this inning. And do we bring in We could bring in our lefty specialist against green, Bourgeois. Because he does hit lefties worse. I think that's what we're going to do here. Just looking to get, one tough out, very clutch out, a very important out to get. We're bringing in Bourgeois for the next 2 batters, and ideally he gets green out here, and we go to jacks in the 9th. The rookie coming up clutch just induces a weak ground ball. Bourgeois fields it, no problem. Okay. So, limiting the damage to just that home run by Meadows. As Carlos Hernandez steps in to pitch for the Tigers. And we have Shelley, Santana, Armstrong due up. Those are all defensive guys that want to leave in the game who have not really produced much offensively. So we'll see what they can do here in 8th. We'd love to get some insurance runs. Shelley, though, for his part, just flies out to the center fielder. Santana is 2 for 3 today. He's hot. Let's see if he can stay high. That ball's going to stay up high enough to be out for the shortstop, Dave Drive. As Armstrong steps in. And strikes out. Okay. So, Colt Keith, trying to see his splits as well. Okay, he's much worse against lefties. So, Bourgeois will stay in to face Keith, and then we're going to go to jacks after that. And it's fine. Now we will go full defensive lineup with just a 1-run lead. Let's see. Martinez, is he a better fielder than Zapata? Debatable. The ratings say yes. Keeshaw's probably a better fielder than both of them. Yeah, okay. So Keyshaw will come into play left field. Bodine will come in to play catcher. And Bourgeois stay out to face Keith. Lefty versus lefty matchup. As he gets the weak ground ball to first, and that is when Coffee kind of. Oh, okay. So forced to cover from the pitcher. Keith does get an infield single. Okay. All right. So it's a rough one there, but Jacks will come in to face the heart of their lineup. He is our closer. He's been our closer. Strikes out Lorenzo. Clutch out there. Lorenzo, Donovan, Deodrado up. Donovan steps in. Jack steals. And that's a ball that stay up long enough for Shelley to get to it, no problem. So we have 2 outs. Deodrado, Tigers' last hope. Will he come through in the clutch over Jacks to shut it down? Deodrado grounds it to Santana. Santana across the diamond, and the A's pull it out, go up 2-0 in the series, heading to Detroit. That's what we wanted to see. I mean, yeah, great game all around. Imanaga, my player of the game, and the game's player of the game. 7 strong innings. Had a bit of trouble in the 3rd, but outside of that was just absolutely incredible. Only allowed 4 hits, most of which came in the 3rd, I think. 2 runs, 1 walk, and that was near the very end of his outing. 8 strikeouts on 87 pitches. Bullpen did pretty well. Snyder gave up a home run. Bourgeois came in and got 1 very clutch out, and then a very close play at first there. Jacks came in and shut it down. And yeah, the gamble with Perdomo pinch hitting paid off very nicely. That led to our runs there in the 6th. I am very happy with how that game went overall. As we get a day of rest, and then we will face Skubal in Game 3 in Detroit. So our lefty lineup against Skubal will be a bit different. I might look to put Perdomo back in the lineup as a starter, even with that quadricep strain, just because he is 2 for 2 so far in the playoffs, two doubles so far in the playoffs too. So we want his bat in there, I think, even with the injury. Um, and he hits lefties well too, or at least he has so far this season. So lefties actually better than righties. So we'll see how that goes, and I'll see you for game 3. So this is going to be the lineup I'm going with against Scooble. Tried to make it so it has the best mix of offense and defense, just based on how they've done throughout the season. Cutter Coffee had a great, an okay game against Detroit, 1 for 3 with a walk. And started off the season well against lefties, so he'll be in there leading off. Wade Shelley plays center field over PCA. PCA doesn't do too bad against lefties, but I think, Wade Shelley still has really good defense while also providing much, much better offense against lefties. So PCA will come in as a replacement sometime in the game, I'm sure. I don't think there's any better player on our team to pinch run with, and also the defensive replacement as well. Our outfield with him in center and Shelley in right is really good defensively. So that's that. So from top to bottom, Coffee, Shelley, Rooker stays in at DH, and the hardest part was between these 4 players right here. I could only play 3 of them based on what, they've done. Montero was also considered just because he did hit lefties really well at the end of the year, but ultimately I think he's more depth than anything else. I am going to stick with Perdomo over him just because Perdomo has, had 2 very impactful hits, 2 for 2 so far in this. I mean, incredibly small sample size, and he's hurt, but I'm going with him. And then Rooker over Zapata. Rooker just has a better OPS for the season. And then Keyshaw over Zapata because they have comparable OPSs, and Keyshaw has better defense, very slightly better. 65 for him outfield rating versus 65 or 60 depending on where he's playing in the outfield. So and there's a lefty righty difference as well. Like, I don't know how much that matters exactly, but for these specific players, Keyshaw definitely hits lefties better. He hasn't really done much so far, but he also hasn't had the opportunity. I don't think he's started any of our games so far. I think we brought him in as a defensive replacement in one game. He might not have even, I don't even know where he played in game 1. We pinch hit for him, I think. No, he came in and played first base at some point. Anyway, and then, second game, he was definitely a defensive replacement later in the game. Yeah. So, in the 9th inning, and that was the only playing time he got. So, we'll see how he does against lefties. And then, the rest of our order, Baldwin, Volpe, Santana, all have not put up amazing numbers against lefties so far this season, but their defense is good enough that they're going to stay in here. You could make the argument for PCA to stay in over, Shelley or one of these other outfielders like Keyshaw. I think this is what I'm going to roll with, though. It's a tough call, but having PCA available as a bat off the bench or a pinch runner or a defensive replacement, he'll play at some point during this game, barring, a crazy blowout or something. So we'll go ahead and get into this game against Detroit, and that is our lineup. Bautista will take the mound for us. He's been very good for us this season, very consistent. In terms of a potential Game 4 play, I'm looking at Jackson Ferris probably. But yeah, hopefully we won't need to worry about Game 4 and we can get to Scooble. He has a ton of WAR, but his ERA is 3.3, which is, he's allowed a few earned runs in his last few starts, so maybe we'll get to him. Nothing's a given in the playoffs, so let's get into it. All right. We are at Detroit here, so we will lead off the game. Cutter Coffee is our leadoff man. Scooble is their ace. It's going to be a tough one, but we'd love to get the sweep here. This Coffee hits one deep to left field, but not quite deep enough. Green makes a catch at the wall, according to the cast here, and Shelley will come up to bat. Shelley hits one right to the second baseman, De Andrade, and John Peck they have in at shortstop again. Alright, that's not a great lineup defensively. So we'll see. Scooble versus Rooker. Rooker's 1 for 7 so far in the series, but hits lefties well. And was good down the stretch. Not great there as he strikes out on 3 pitches. Alright, Bautista. Let's see what he's got against the top of the Tigers border. Here's the pitch, and that's right to Santana. 1 out. Riley Green, probably their toughest out in the lineup. As he works a walk there. Alright, Lorenzo, switch hitter, simply back from the left side here. 3-2 pitch, and he strikes him out. Nice job by Bautista there. And Colt Keith will come up to bat. Let's see if he can get out without any damage here. As Colt Keith hits one to center, and Shelley runs it down. Alright, so allows a walk, but no other damage there. So still 0-0 as Steven Martinez comes up. He had a period where he was our hottest hitter by far. As he hits that one deep, he's crushed it. I think that one is gone. Yeah, speaking of hot, Steven Martinez, first opportunity here. He might have pinch hit earlier in the series, but yeah, first opportunity in this game. He takes full advantage of it. We are up 1-0 off the solo shot. Keyshaw comes up to bat. Let's see what he can do. He strikes out. As they must put the shift on here or something. Perdomo. He's 2 for 2 so far. Let's see if he can keep that up. It's a little dribbler to the left-hand side of the infield, and with him a little gimpy. It's not surprised that the throw beats him in first base. Baldwin, though, comes up to bat, and he strikes out. I think he's been a bit cold in this series so far, which is a little disappointing, but still early, so we'll see. Go to the second. Montiel had a clutch hit for them, solo shot, I believe, in the last game. And strike 3, he suffers a strikeout at the hands of Bautista. Alright, Donovan. Lefty versus lefty matchup here, and he does manage to squeak one through for a hit to center. So another man on. Let's see if we can get the double play here on De Andrade. He does put the ball in play, but it's a pop-up foul ground. That should be no problem for Perdomo, and he's got 2 outs now. Tavera steps up to bat, 3-2. They do run on that, but no problem. Ground out to Santana. Easy. All right. And Scooble back in against Volpe. Let's see if Volpe, he's been hot in this playoff series so far. So he does hit one out to center field, but that game's up enough here. Meadows is going to put it down. Santana also been hot. Has a 400 average so far in this series, but again, a pop-up in the infield, that's going to be easy for Andrade. And Cutter Coffee back up to the top of the lineup. And that's going to hang up enough for Meadows to get it and run it down. So, Bautista steps in against Meadows. strike out. Strike 3. All right, Bautista, nice job. John Peck steps in. Strikes out. Nice job. Riley Green. Would love to see him strike out Green. 3-1 pitch. That's hit hard, but to the second baseman Volpe, and Volpe gets him out. So 1-2-3 inning. Nice job by Bautista there against some tough hitters. Shelley, let's see what he can do against the lefty Scootle. Nope, strike 3. Scootle has 4 strikeouts already in this game. Rooker steps in. He strikes out. Yeah, this is definitely a tough matchup. Martinez went yard last time. Let's see if he can do damage again. Nope, he strikes out. Scootle strikes out the side. Yeah, that's what you get when you face their ace, I think. Bautista, 42 pitches. We'd love to see him go 5 or 6, because that's a hard shot to left field. Let's see if that stays in the yard. It does, and in fact, Keyshaw manages to run it down. Great result there. Keith is also a tough hitter, and that's going to get just over Volpe's head in the right field. Keith not really a threat to steal. Montia, let's see how he will do. 1-2 pitch, strikeout. Nice job by Bautista there. He's up to 5 strikeouts already. Donovan digs in, and that's hit right to Volpe. He should get the easy out at first base. No problem. All right. So they allow a runner, but no other damage there. A Scooble only at 53 pitches. Yeah, you have to imagine they're going to pitch him as deep as they feel comfortable going. Keyshaw knocks one into center field. Nice job by him. He's also a threat to steal as Perdomo steps in. Perdomo hits it well, but right to the center fielder. Keyshaw has to run back. He was off on that pitch, but yeah, not gonna happen there. All right, Baldwin is 0 for 7 so far. Let's see if he can get his first hit of the series. As Keyshaw takes off, no throw even. He lost his grip on the ball. All right, so Keyshaw now in scoring position for Baldwin. Let's see if Baldwin can knock him in. I'd love to get some insurance run here. No, Baldwin strikes out again. We may see Bodine get a try in here at some point with Baldwin struggling a bit. Volpe also strikes out, leaving the runner stranded at second. Yeah, Bautista steps in with 57 pitches. He's not a guy that can go super deep into the game. Yeah, we'll have to see. Ooh, as that is hit well and would make it to the wall. That's definitely extra bases as it bounces around a lot back there. He might get 3. No, he sticks it up 2. Yeah, D'Andrade goes in head first. Double. And he's fairly speedy. All right, Bautista. I don't think we're looking at taking him out yet. Let's see how he does versus the bottom of Tigers' order. So they scored an opponent. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that, honestly. Like, oh, as he hits one deep to right field. Yeah, I would have much rather seen a bunt than that. Meadows will step up to the plate. He hits one hard to the gap, and that's going to get down for extra bases. Okay, so not a great inning so far for Bautista, and now we start thinking about how much room do we give him with no men out, and the top of the order due up. All right, let me see here as we go to our pitching list. So we do have Hill. He's at 38% tired. Yeah. And we could bring in Ferris. I think we might just look to use like bullpen by committee here. I think I'll leave in Bautista for one more batter, bring in Bourgeois for the left-handed Green, and then probably go to our middle relievers after that. Leave Ferris for the start tomorrow. Leave Hill. I'd like to leave lighter, as I think going Ferris lighter tomorrow probably would work out well. He's done well this season. So kind of planning ahead. Yeah, I mean, this is still a one-run ball game. I want to keep this close. Bautista will face Peck, and then I think he'll be done for the day. Only at 68 pitches, but I think they have to play it safe here. Because he did strike him out looking there. Yeah, but 74 pitches, I think we need this out badly. We're bringing in Bourgeois. He'll face Green and Lorenzo, and Keith, if applicable. Kind of a lefty stretch there, forcing Lorenzo to bat. I think his left side is weaker versus left-handed pitching. Yeah, he's definitely weaker against left-handed pitching. So, yeah, we'll go with the lefty Bourgeois. This is a high leverage situation. So we'll see. He did well against Green in the last game, or maybe it was game 1. I don't remember. Green does hit that one well as Shelley runs it down. All right, 2 outs now as Lorenzo steps in, and he pops it up. That should be playable for either Coffee or the catcher, Baldwin. All right. Coffee pulls it down. So, just the 2-run shot, but the Tigers do have the lead now as Santana steps in against Scooble. He's at 72 pitches. I don't know how late they're going to have him go, as Santana hits it well, but that's going to make it to the center fielder, Meadows. Yeah, we definitely want to get into their bullpen and get Scooble out of the game as soon as possible. So, Coffee 0 for 2 so far. Make that 0 for 3, as that's a ground out to the shortstop. Easy play there. Shelley steps in. He's 0 for 2 so far. Yeah, I'm not looking to pinch it for any of these guys yet. There's a little dribbler in front of the plate. Shelley does run well, but it's he is safe. All right, he legs out an infield hit. Nice job by Shelley there, getting something there. And Brooker, 0 for 2 today, does well against lefties, has the power. Let's see if we can get a 2-run shot right back. Oh, as Shelley takes off and is safe. Nice job getting into scoring position. Now any hit should score Shelley. So, but Brooker strikes out. Leaves the runner stranded at second. Bourgeois will stay in to face Keith. Could stay in to face Montana too, or Montilla, because he's slightly worse against lefties. Yeah, they do have kind of a stretch of guys here that are worse against lefties. Donovan also is, so he might stay in to face all 3 of these guys, and then we'll go to someone else after that. So Colt Keith steps in. He hits it well to left or right center, but that's a problem for Shelley. Montilla steps in. 3-1 pitch. Ooh, that's hit hard to left field. That's going to be down on extra bases. As Martinez takes his time getting it back in. Oh, it's Keyshawn, sorry, not Martinez. That's a double. All right. And Donovan will step up. This will be Bourgeois' last batter, no matter what. So that is over Volpe's head into center field. Let's see if Shelley can get it in and keep the run at third. And he can. Okay, so the double play is still in play. We've got Dan Brada up to the plate. And let's see here. I think Correa is the play. We'll do Correa, and then probably one of our setup men after that. Jax will probably come in at some point during this game. Correa will let's see. If we show our customizer playlist, this is against lefties versus righties. Who's got the best? Obviously, Jax does. Snyder, Fernandez, Leiter. I want to save Leiter potentially for tomorrow. He can pitch today if I absolutely beat him to. Bourgeois, no. And then versus lefties, who's the best option? I think Hill is the best option. He is tired. He could maybe come in and pitch one inning for us in relief. So we're bringing in Correa against Andrade. Let's see if he can induce the double play, get us out of this inning without any more damage done. 3-2, that does just get past Volpe, and a run will score. It is now 3-2. All right, Correa, let's see if we can get to Tavera. As that's a fly ball, and that goes down. Volpe, infinite fly rule invoked as Parker Meadows steps up. Probably Correa against lefties. Not particularly great, but I think I'll leave him in here. I think I have to leave him in here. I think the three-man rule is in effect, so he has to stay in no matter what. And works out, he gets the strikeout. Scooble comes back out to pitch with 86 pitches. Yeah, you have to imagine he's probably on a short leash. But he's been dealing so far. Martinez works a leadoff walk. I'd like to see that. And here's where we potentially look to bring in. This week it's about 2-inch run with Pete Crow. Martinez is not a bad one by any means. And he's been good so far in this game. Okay, I think we're going to leave Martinez in for now. Keyshaw pops it up. Infield, Keith brings it down. Scooble's still out there at 93 pitches. Let's see if Perdomo can make him pay. He is 0 for 2 today. But White takes a one hit as he gets the strikeout. Scooble, 98 pitches. You have to imagine the fans are on their feet here. Baldwin, 0 for 2. Let's see if he can knock Scooble out of the game here. You have to imagine this is the last batter no matter what. And Scooble finishes with 11 strikeouts. Ooh, that's rough. All right. Correa got Peck, Green, Lorenzo up at the top of the order. And we'll want... I think we'll have Correa face Peck and then bring in Hill for the rest. He is on short rest. He is tired. Pitched 63 pitches 3 days ago, but he can give us one inning against the heart of their lineup. I think that's the best call here, as he has been our best pitcher against left-handed pitching. So, Correa facing Peck. And he gets the strikeout. Nice job by Correa. All right, now we just need Hill to come in and get 2 outs. 2 very important outs. Gets the strikeout on Green. Nice job. Lorenzo steps in. Strikes out as well. Very nice. Hill coming in, doing a great job, as Kenley Jansen is now on the Tigers at 43 years old, still going strong. My God. Yeah, I did not realize he was still in the league. He pitched for Baltimore in 26 and 27, Philly in 28, and has been on Detroit the last 2 years, still putting up really good numbers.
closer-worthy numbers. Yeah, if that's not a Hall of Fame closer career, I don't know what is. Kenley Jansen, 43. They're using him as a setup man here, but yeah, that's... Ooh. All right, Volpe, Santana, Coffee, and then if it gets to Shelley, I think that's where we would look to pinch hit with the righty on the mound. So, Volpe steps in against Kenley Jansen. Here's the pitch. And he hits it well. Is it going to hang up enough? No, it is not. Drops down into left field. Volpe gets a base hit. He also runs well. Santana, let's see if he can do some damage here. Ooh, that may be a double play as they get one at first, but Santana too quick. They can't get double play. Coffee steps in. He is 1 for 6 so far in the series, 0 for 3 so far today. OPS of 786, which is not bad. Let's see how he does against Kenley Jansen. Oh, ball gets away from the catcher, but Lorenzo manages to jump on top of it. Santana. Coffee puts the 3-1 pitch into play. They do get the out at second, but again, not able to get the out at first. So, Shelley up to bat here against the right-handed Jansen, and I think this is where we look to make a move, as Shelley has struggled against righties. Yeah, we'll bring in Zapata to pinch hit here. He's been great against righties this year. Yeah, 2 for 7 so far in the playoffs. Let's see him do some damage. 2-0 pitch. No damage. All right. That is another out at second. I think all 3 outs are at second base this inning. Tigers still up 3-1. As we will keep Zapata in to play right field. Martinez. Shelley was at center. Could shift Keyshaw to center, but I think what I'd rather do is Martinez has been hot so far. Well, 1 hit and run and a walk. Yeah, a walk so far this game. He's done well. Coffee has not done so far this game. 0 for 4. So, I think what I'll do is I'll shift Keyshaw to first, Martinez stays in, moves to left, and then I'll slot in Pete Armstrong into center field. Okay, and he's at 10 pitches. Still feeling okay, even on short rest. I think I will want him in to face Keith. We'll kind of take it batter by batter here, I think. Probably will pull him at some point this inning, just based on the number of pitches he throws, but we'll have to see. So, Hill will stay in to face Keith. Keith works a full count and a leadoff walk. That's not great. Hill still doing okay at 16 pitches. Okay, I think he'll stay in to face Montilla and Donovan, and then we'll look to bring in someone against Dick. So, Montilla hit a double in his last at-bat, and that looks like extra bases as well, as that'll get to the wall. Let's see if Carl Armstrong can get it back in quickly and keep the runner at third. As he does. Okay, so we do have first base open. I think we go for a strikeout potentially here, or the out rather. And then I don't think we intentionally walk until we have 1 out at least in the inning. We'll have to see how this goes. I think this is Desan Hill's last batter no matter what, though. He does hit it to... Oh, they go for the play at home. And they get the play at home. Very nice. They prevent the run from scoring. Now the double play is in order with one out. De Andrade coming up to bat. We want whoever our best right-handed pitcher is. And it's going to be Griffin Jacks coming in. We might look to keep him in as well for the rest of the game. High leverage situation. We want him in here for sure against De Andrade and Tavera. We'll have to see how things go. So Griffin Jacks, 2-2 pitch, strikes him out. All right, Tavera steps in. 0-2, strikes out Jacks. 2 very clutch strikeouts, keeping this game within shouting distance. However, we are down to our final 3 outs. So we want our best possible right-handed bats in here. Gamble has hit well against righties. Martinez has hit well in this game. Keyshaw has done okay in this game. Gamble, he started 2 games, I think, so far in the series and hasn't done much. I think we just leave our guys in, maybe look to do some pinch running if it makes sense. Yeah, I think we got to go with that. So Jansen will step in, Rooker, Martinez, Keyshaw will be our last 3 guys up. Ooh, as Rooker strikes out on full count. 4 strikeouts today. That's a rough look. All right, Martinez steps in. He is 1 for 2 so far with a walk in this game. Let's see if he can do it against the right-handed Jansen, and he can. It's one into center field. Okay, does it make sense to pitch run for him? Gamble is a pretty comparable runner, I'd say. Where's Martinez? Yeah, like you get a slight edge pinch running for him. But, Perdomo makes sense to pinch run for with the quad strain. Keyshaw is pretty quick on his own right. So if we get to Perdomo and Perdomo gets on, I think we'll pinch run for him. But yeah, kind of getting our head of ourselves here. Keyshaw, 1 for 3. Let's see if he can come through in the clutch here. As he pops it up, that is playable for the first baseman. Alec Bohm is on the team. Okay. As he's played very limited time so far. They have him in as a defensive replacement first. They did leave their defense at short alone. As Perdomo coming in, he's 0 for 3 today. Do we pinch hit or don't? That's a legit pitch. With him being 0 for 3 today, Gamble has better numbers. I think we do. I think we just go, even though Gamble has not done well in the series so far, we'll go with the splits. We'll see if Gamble can come through. And Gamble strikes out to end the game. Well, we kept it close against their ace Skubal, but Detroit does win 3-1. So it will go to game 4. Solid effort by Bautista. He just couldn't go long enough. Bourgeois did give up another run. I think he gave up a home run to Tavera. No, Bautista gave up the home run to Tavera, and that was basically all they needed to win this game. Tariq Skubal, definitely player of the game. Went 102 pitches with just 1 earned run, 3 hits, 11 strikeouts. That's kind of what we expected from Skubal. Kind of, mentally write this one off as a loss before you play it, but you never know. Martinez had a good game. He might look to play again, even against righties. Volpe doing well in the series. PCA has yet to get a hit so far in this series, but didn't have the opportunity in this game. So, yeah, we will face Casey Mize, who has been pretty mediocre, if not outright bad so far this season. Yeah, 7.36 ERA against over 10 starts. His injury is wrecked. Yeah, this is definitely a game we want to win. We don't want series to go to a winner take all game 5. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with my original plan, especially with Hill coming in that last game. Jackson Ferris will get the start for us here, and then we will look to bring in Leiter probably in relief. Probably a combo of those two to get through the first 6 or so innings, and then bullpen after that. So, yeah, we're on to game 4. Let's see how it goes. All right, game 4 here. Still in Detroit. We're going to go against Casey Mize. We're facing off against him with Jackson Ferris on the mound. Again, it'll probably be a combination of Ferris and our Cam Leiter, who has done well in relief so far. That's kind of the plan going into the game. A little bit of a different lineup. I'm trying to go with a mix of, who's been good in the series, defense, offense throughout the season. We're going to roll with this lineup to go into game number 4. Cutter Coffee will still lead off, even though he has not done super well in that role yet. I mean, he's had 1 hit, but, numbers are good against righties throughout the year. Zapata has been okay. Volpe's been hot. Armstrong, batting cleanup. We need him to get going, but he's been good against righties all year. Santana, Perdomo is slotting in at DH, so he doesn't have to play the field with that injury. I think that makes a lot of sense. Steven Martinez gets the nod at left field because he's been hot so far in this series, at least across 2 games. Usually better against left-handed pitching, but he'll get a start against righties. The backup catcher, Bodine, will come in for this game because Martinez has been ice cold and because he probably needs 1 rest game in the series anyway. If there's a deciding game 5, Martinez will for sure be back in there. And then Montero comes in to play third just to see what he can do in the 9 spot. Yeah, we're going to roll with this, and we'll see how things go. Casey Mize has a 7.36 ERA across 10 starts. You'd hope that we could get to him, but again, it's the playoffs. Anything can happen, and we're not exactly rolling out our best here, unfortunately, as much as I, appreciate the season that Ferris had for us in 2028. Like, he has had a good year this year, but the underlying FIP and the BABIP make me question, like, is he legit or not? I guess we'll see. Yeah, so let's get into the game. Game 4 of the round 2. I should probably go through and actually name these series at some point. Casey Mize gets the start for Detroit. Cutter Coffee swings and hits one right to the shortstop. Easy first out. Zapata steps up to bat, and he works a walk. Nice job by him. We want to get to Mize early if we can. Make things easier on our pitching, but that's not the way to do it. It's full pay. He grounds right into the double play. But Ferris on, he is a lefty. Their lineup is dangerous from the left side. Yeah, we'll have to see how he does against this lineup here. So, all right, sorry for the awkward cut there as we get back into the game. Jackson Ferris about to take the mound against Peck. Let's see how he does. soft grounder. It should be fieldable by Ferris, and yep, back down, 1 out. And Riley Green settles in. He's always a dangerous hitter, but managed to get him to pop out here to Montero in foul territory. Like to see that. But Keith batting third. See if we can get him down 1-2-3. As that is up, but playable for PCA. And he puts it down. All right, nice 1-2-3 inning by Ferris. Love to see that. And PCA steps up. He's batting in the 4 spot for us today. Let's see if he can actually get going. Oh, as he gets hit. Okay. Well, that's one way to get on base, I guess. And he's got an 80 in stealing. Let's see if he tries to get in scoring position here against Lorenzo. Behind the plate. Santana hits sharply, but right to the left fielder Green, out number 1. All right. Perdomo, DH today. Let's see how he does, as that's grounded right down the third baseline. And that's going to be an infield hit. Nice job by Perdomo. PCA now in scoring position with his speed. You have to think that any kind of hit would score him. As Martinez strikes out on an 0-2 pitch. All right. Bodine steps in. Let's see what he can do. So he hits it down the third baseline as Montia goes right to the base to get PCA. That's unfortunate ball placement there, but not a bad inning, but we don't ultimately score. Ferris steps back in against Lorenzo to lead off the second. Lorenzo works the count full and does work the walk against Ferris. Brendan Donovan up next. So he hits it to left center, but that's playable for Martinez. No problem there. 1 out. De Andrade up. As that could be a potential double play. No one covering second. Coffee manages to get the play. Nice job by Santana and Coffee combining to get a tough out at first base. Montilla steps up to bat, and that's popped up. That should be playable for Coffee. They waste the leadoff walk as Montero steps in against Casey Mize. Let's see what he can do here. It's a 3-1 pitch. As he hits it, but right to the left fielder Green. That's going to be the first out of the inning. Coffee steps back in, still 0 for 1, still ice cold. Let's see what he does here. As that could find the gap. Let's see if it gets down. No, not quite to the gap, but oh, Coffee's going for 2 anyway. It's deep enough where I think he'll make it. The ball bounces to the fence. It didn't look like that in the 3D graphics, but you know, sure. I mean, if it bounces to the fence and Coffee makes it in second safely, then sure. I know the graphics can get kind of weird sometimes. Zapata strikes out. On a 1-2 pitch. Volpe has been doing well so far this series. Let's see if he can knock in a run here. As he hits it sharply to center, but right off the center fielder, Meadows, and he brings it down. All right. Ferris up the face. Tavera, Meadows, and Peck. Tavera hits it sharply to Montero, but that should be no problem. First out of the inning. All right. Meadows steps in. He hits it right to Santana. That should be another out here. Yep. Meadows out number 2. Ferris doing well so far. Peck takes strike 3 on the corner. Nice job. I think that's his first strikeout of the game. Ferris is. PCA hits it right over the head of the first baseman. That's his first hit of the series. All right, PCA on for the second straight time this game. Santana stepped up to bat. Let's see if PCA lives to steal here. Always dangerous on the base pass as Santana hits one to the outfield, and yep, that will drop in for a hit. So first and second, nobody out. 2 very dangerous runners on the base paths. Perdomo up. He's 1 for 1 today. Let's see what he can do. as he pops it up. That's gonna be brought down by the pitcher, actually. Casey Miles pops it down. No, it's a walk. All right. Martinez over 1 today. And let's see if he can stay hot and hit one out, as that hangs up there enough for Martinez. Green to grab it. Alright, and Bodine 0 for 1 today. Let's see what he can do. And that is through the infield for a base hit. PCA rounds third. He's headed home. They will not get him, as he's safe. Nice job by Bodine knocking in the run. It's now 1-0. Let's see if Montero can widen this gap a little more. Instead, he strikes out on 3 pitches. Not ideal. All right. Jackson steps into first green. Yeah, has not allowed a hit so far in this game, but also has only struck out 1 and walked 1 so far in this game. So, you know, I don't know how much of a leash to give Jackson Ferris, but so far, so good, as he, induces a flyout to PCA. Not bad. Colt Keith, their other really dangerous hitter, also a lefty, strikes out. That's the second strikeout from Ferris. And Lorenzo steps in. Sharply hit, but right to Coffee as he steps on the bag. That's a 1-2-3 inning. Okay, so Ferris is kind of dealing so far, as he has a no-hit bid going. Probably shouldn't have said anything. Oops, I jinxed. All right, Coffee steps in. He's 3 full count. Yeah, no, nothing doing there. Flies out to green. All right, Coffee in the leadoff spot. Not really paying dividends so far, although he does have a hit in this in today's game. So Zapata 0 for 1 today. I believe he has a walk as well. And Zapata hits it. That is to center field, but it hangs up enough there. Meadows has no issues getting to it. And Volpe up with 2 outs. Let's see what he can do. As he hits it to left field, and it does hang up enough again for Green to go down. Getting lots of good contact against Mize. Still only 1 run on 5 hits so far. Ferris in the 5th inning. Yeah, let's see what he can do. And there's a pop-up, and that goes to Volpe. He pulls it in. All right. Steps in the face of Dan. Got it. And that goes right to the second baseman, Volpe. He makes the play. Easy out at first. 2 outs now to Montilla. 3-2 pitch. Strikes him out. Very nice job from Jackson Ferris. 5 scoreless, 5 hitless so far. Love to get some more insurance runs so you could maybe leave him in. Really have to watch that pitch count, and only in a 1-0 ball game. So PCA's made it on both times so far this game. Let's see if he can make it 3. Hits it to the second baseman. Not successful that time. Santana steps in. He's 1 for 2. It's another ball, although it's going to be the pitcher Mize fielding, and does beat Santana to the bag. So 2 outs now with Perdomo up to the plate. He's 1 for 2. As he hits it, little dribbler to the shortstop. That should be no problem from Day Friday. That's a 1-2-3. Still 1-0. Ferris at 63 pitches with Tavera, Meadows, Peck due up. I think, you leave him. Yeah, he's just still. It's his 4th strikeout now for the game. We definitely leave him in to face Meadows, as Meadows strikes out looking. Okay. Back to the top of the order now, and here's where things potentially get dangerous. Ferris at 72 pitches. These are the most dangerous batters. Peck has been ice cold. of late, at least. Yeah, his average 195, on base 200, like not the worst, but yeah, let's see how he does, as he does work the count to 3-1. And speaking of on base percentage, he works a walk. That's still not a hit. Ferris now at 77 pitches, but I like the lefty-lefty matchup. I think he's going to stay in to face Green and Keith. I can't pull him here, I think. I think he's our best chance at an out, and he pulls it off with a strikeout on Green. Nice job getting out of the inning unscathed. All right. Bottom of the order up against Mize, who's pitched 6 strong innings for them, 3 strikeouts, has allowed 5 hits, 1 earned run. Let's see if we can get to him a little bit, get a little more breathing room here, as the 1-0 game is making me a little nervous. Instead, we got a little dribbler to Mize. He turns and throws first, no problem. Bodine had a clutch single to get us all rolling on of the game. Let's see if we can do that again. Ooh, he strikes out looking. Mize now up to 81 pitches. Let's see how Montero will do against him. And he does induce the ground out to Dan Bravo. That's a 1-2-3 inning. Yeah, this is just like a classic OOTP game. Going against a pitcher with a 7 ERA, and he only gives up 1. But right now we're winning, 1-0. And Ferris at 80 pitches, still in the green. Still got the lefty matchup. I think this will be his last inning. I'll have him face Keith Lorenzo Donovan, maybe pull him if he gives up any kind of hit or base runner. We'll need to see. Keith does work a full count, but does ground out to Volpe. Okay, that's first out. Jackson now in the orange. Yeah, I'm going to see if he can get through this inning. Any kind of base runner, and he'll come out of the game. Despite the no-hit bid going, like, I can't, in a 1-0 game, leave him in. I just can't. Ooh, as that is a tough play, but Martinez does make it on the 3-2 pitch. Ferris now up to 92 pitches. This will be his last batter of the game. Donovan steps in, and a little bloop single to right field that breaks up the no-hit bid. And that will do it for Jackson Ferris today. Excellent game. I mean, that's, better than I ever could have expected from him. He's took a no-hitter into the 7th inning. Yeah, very legit. And we will bring in Snyder to face De Andrade with 2 outs. It'll likely be Snyder, Fernandez, Jax for the last 3 innings. As Harris's day is done. So maybe just Snyder and Fernandez if we can get some insurance runs, but it's a big if, as a little dribbler does make it through. As PCA throws in. Oh, they try to get to second. Wow. Yeah. PCA with a nice cutoff throw. Bit of a base running error there by Detroit. I don't know why you make that play if you're the Tigers there. Is Casey Mize still in the game? 82 pitches. Yeah, let's see if we can get to him here. As Coffee, another ground out to the shortstop. Man, just not able to do anything today. Zapata for 2. He'll step in. And that's another ground out, unless, Keith manages to step on the bag. Volpe 0 for 3 today. He's cooled off a bit. Let's see if he can get his first hit of the game. As he hits it, fly ball, that's going to be playable for Green. Yeah, that's the inning. 1, 2, 3. Snyder set to face the bottom of the Tigers order. He only threw one pitch last inning, so I think we'll ride him through the eighth. And then maybe Jax in the ninth. Drew Waters steps into pinch hit. Lee Snyder in against him. Waters does work a 4-pitch walk. Okay. Meadows steps in. Let's see what Snyder can do here. So there's a pop-up that should be playable for either Montero or Santana. Montero gets it. All right. Peck up. Yeah, hopefully Snyder can get him out. Not beyond question what to do there, but no issues there. Nice job getting around the walk by Snyder. We got PCA, Santana, Perdomo up. Yeah, let's see what they can do. PCA hits it sharply, but right to the right fielder. Waters brings it down. Waters is staying into play right field, it looks like. Santana 1 for 3 today. Gonna step in. And 3-1 pitch does make it through the infield. Nice job by Santana making it on. Let's see if we can get some insurance runs here. As Hernandez steps into pitch, he's also a right-handed pitcher. Let's see here. Domo is 1 for 3 so far in this game. Martinez is 0 for 3, so I think we'll look to maybe pinch hit for him. Baldwin, maybe? As Santana takes off, but does not get a good jump, and Santana gunned down at second base. Rough. Alright, Perdomo now with the bases empty. Let's see if he can do something here. Hits it right to the first baseman, Keith. Alright, it's 1 out. We go to the ninth with Green, Keith, Lorenzo up. It's the art of their order, and we will bring in the closer to shut it down. Griffin Jax coming in. We're also going to go to our defensive lineup here, so we'll leave Bodina catcher. We bring in Shelley to play outfield. And who's better in left field? Gamble actually had best left fielder by ratings, but Martinez better in left field. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and bring in Shelley to replace Sakata. I think I'm happy with our infield setup currently, unless Keyshaw slightly better fielder than Coffee. We'll go ahead and do this. We will bring in Keyshaw for Coffee, and we'll bring in Shelley for Zane. As Griffin Jax comes into the game, it's a 1-0 ball game. Definitely a save situation here, and definitely the toughest 3 outs of the game to get here against Green, Keith, and Lorenzo. This is what you pay the closer for. 1-0 ball game, game 4 on the line. Green steps in against Jax. It's a ground ball, but playable for Volpe. That's 1 out. Nice job on their most dangerous hitter. Alright, Keith 0 for 3 today. See if he can make it 0 for 4. So that's a pop-up. Alright, that's playable for a catcher. Bodine pulls it down. Nice job. They're down to their last out with Lorenzo stepping in against Jax. 1-2 pitch. Strikes out. Nice job by Jax. 1-2-3 inning. That's great job by him. And that is a great job by our team. We are going to the ALCS. MVP for the series goes to Santana. I can't really argue against that. He was great this series. Yeah, Ferris with an excellent game. Player of the game. Coming in as our fourth starter and going almost 100 pitches, only giving up 1 hit, 0 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Yeah, I think he's kind of solidified his position in the rotation going forward. Yeah, that's a great game. And now we get to see, as that series only goes 4 games, which is nice because that gives Gavin Jones potentially time to rest up. Let's look at the other series here as, yeah, the Mariners-Yankees series will go the full 5 games. Braves swept the Phillies 3-0. Cardinals-Dodgers hasn't played game 4 yet. And we'll go ahead and sim through and see. All right. No results there. Let's see what happens today. Cardinals-Dodgers also going to a deciding game 5. And the Mariners beat the Yankees, so it will be the top 2 teams by record in the AL. The Seattle Mariners versus the Oakland A's. Mariners will have home field advantage in that series, which is going to be a bit rough for us, but Robbie Snelling suffering a setback. Yeah, I mean, it was already unlikely that he was going to pitch in this playoff series, but that just solidifies it. I think he had 3 to 4 weeks left on his injury, and it's just a full 4 weeks now, and we'll be well into November by then. So that'll about do it for this episode. Next episode, we will play the ALCS, and who made it? It's the Braves and the Dodgers in the NL. So we'll be playing for the right to play one of them in the World Series, 7-game series. Gavin Jones rested and healthy for game 1 of this series. That's great. We'll do Jones, Imanaga, Bautista, Ferris, and then we'll see after the first 4 games kind of where things stand. Probably keep our playoff roster largely the same. I don't think there's anyone I really would want to change out. DeLuca maybe can slot in. Gamble's been cold, but he can play multiple positions. Although we've got Montero. You can maybe make a case for DeLuca over Gamble. As we look at our postseason stats so far. Yeah, Martinez has been our best hitter by OPS+, as he's got 2 hits and 7 at-bats with a home run, a walk. Perdomo hitting well. Only 3 guys with OPS over 100, but it's the playoffs. We did face their ace Scooble in there, who did really well against us. Gamble 0 hits on the series. Baldwin, the other one, with 0 hits in the series. I'm sure he'll get going. Pretty low sample size here, but it's a bit of a rough patch for him. And Seattle, what is their... I think we looked at them briefly, but I'd like to see who we're looking to have as their starters. Logan Gilbert, obviously their ace, although he has not quite put up ace-like numbers this year. ERA of 4.44, a bit of a step down. This is also his last year under contract, so he'll be hitting free agency next year at age 33. Jose Atencio, a bit of a better result, even though his ratings look to be worse overall. Sub 4 ERA, 3.1 WAR. Pretty solid pitcher, I'd say. Joey Wentz, on the other hand, 4.63. He seems like a fill-in starter more than anything. And then Rhett Lauder, they traded for at the deadline with Cincinnati for Rhett Lauder, and he has a 5.92 ERA across 5 starts for them, 15 games played. yeah, their rotation not looking the best, honestly. Like, did they suffer injuries? Well, they have Julio Rodriguez, who is out for the next 5 days, so we might miss. It depends on if they decide to put him on their playoff roster or not. I think the CPU probably won't until he's healthy. And then Pedro Ramirez, out for 2 months with a hip strain. So that was their pitching rotation throughout the season. Yeah, although their bullpen pretty elite with Andres Munoz as their closer, putting up 2.7 WAR, sub 3 ERA. Slight step back from, well, he didn't have a great 2029, but still playing at an elite level. Definitely don't want to be facing him with the game on the line. Brock Burke putting up a lot of WAR for them too. I mean, he looks like if he had a little more stamina, he'd be a decent starter. Um, Jose Soriano started 20 games for them this season. I mean, I think I'd rather have him as a starter than the guys they're throwing out there. It's, some weird choices. J.R. Ritchie, former Oakland A, doing okay for them this season. Uh, yeah, he was drafted in the expansion draft by us, became a free agent in 2028, and then signed a 3-year contract with the Mariners. Yeah, so this is a team that won 98 games, and I think, it's largely on the back of their offense. Colt Emerson, Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez when healthy. We do miss him for the first at least 4 games of the series, I think. Depending on whether or not they try to put him on the playoff roster or not. I don't know what they're going to do there. So that'll do it here for this episode. Since this one's probably quite long already with 4 playoff games. We'll go into our ALCS against the Mariners next time. I'll see you then.